everyone, and welcome to the Sports Now podcast. I'm your host, Ellis Hendry, and this week it's all about globalisation, so I'll be talking transfers. I'll run through how the increased spending in the past decade has impacted the media coverage of transfers, and are we heading into a new era of football? Well, let's delve in. Firstly, what exactly is meant by the term globalisation? According to Robertson, globalisation should be understood as 1, the compression of time and space, and 2, a consciousness of the world as a whole. Globalisation can be assessed through 5 global flows, one of which is the global effect it has on the media. Moving on to transfers then, we already know that deadline day is such a massive event in the calendar year, but it wasn't always like this. The past decade has seen a massive increase in spending, especially by the so-called Big Six in the Premier League. For example, from 2011 to 2021, according to BBC Sport UK, more than £38 billion has been spent on transfers worldwide in the past decade. Alongside football matches themselves, transfer news is one of the leading topics of media consumption due to its global interest. We have seen this in the past year with the Saudi Pro League attracting huge media attention due to signing big names such as Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar Jr. and Sadio Mane, just to name a few. This global attraction has led to increased media coverage, not just in the tabloids, but also on our TV screens. Prior to the season, the big spending league secured a $500,000 deal with UK broadcaster DAZN. As well as this, they landed TV deals in Germany, Austria, and also Asia. This highlights the global pull that these superstars have, with people willing to pay subscriptions to see them in action. This all ultimately boils down to this increased spending, meaning more media coverage across the world. It shows the close correlation between how more money spent in the transfer market, alongside players transferring from France to Saudi Arabia in Neymar Jr.'s case, leads to more media attention globally. According to Rowe, sport and media can be said to be two complete opposite worlds. However, there is a symbolic relationship between them both, which has become indispensable in the last 100 years. Going back to England though, from 2014 to 2023, the English transfer market has played a vital role in the global market for footballers, with spending being in excess of £22 billion. This in turn has boosted the economic growth of the Premier League, and a lot of this increased spending in recent years is down to investment from takeovers such as clubs like Newcastle United. Funding from countries such as America and Saudi Arabia has meant that bigger clubs are getting even richer to spend big in the transfer market. Because of this, there's been much more movement in the transfer market, with fewer predominant buying than selling clubs. These so-called selling clubs are now tending to target young talent for less money than established superstars and focus home-growing talent. So how does this link to media? Well, with more upcoming talent being given more media coverage on broadcasters such as Sky Sports, they are becoming household names to the general public, leading to this new era of football. We've seen this with players like Jude Bellingham with his big money move to Real Madrid. He's been bombarded by not only the Spanish media, but also the English media following his journey abroad, which again is evidence of this globalisation. In the past decade, the Premier League in particular has seen a huge exponential rise in transfer spending. Looking at a study conducted by Totally Money, last season's transfer market set a new record of $2.9 billion, which was previously set in the 2017-18 season, reaching heights of $1.9 billion. So we can see just from this that the Premier League clubs are going transfer crazy. From this study though, only from the 2015 season onwards has transfer spending surpassed £1 billion. Therefore, with that, the rate of spending, it's increasing. It's projected by 2050, we could be looking at a world record transfer fee somewhere in the region of 350 million to 650 million, which is ridiculous to think at this moment in time. With some of the world's biggest talents such as Erling Haaland merely costing Manchester City 51 million last season. Another reason why media coverage on transfer news has increased is because of new advanced technology and news being more accessible than ever to people of the public. Top journalists on transfer news, such as the likes of Fabrizio Romano, are able to post transfer news, and due to their reputation, the news is just widely accepted and believed by the readers. However, with so many rumours circling the internet every transfer window, regardless of the news being real or fake, the worldwide attention these transfer sagas receive is huge. It could be said that the media has taken the element of surprise out of transfer news, which for the worse or better is up for debate. However, we could certainly include the transfer market in the conversation when talking about if we are heading into a new era of football. Anyway, that wraps up this week's episode of the Sports Now podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.